Earning my Master Model Railroad Award for NMRA by you know who, 805. Achieving Master Model Railroad is a challenging reward and a journey. Earn at least 7 of the 11 available achievement program certificates. Submit a statement of qualification for each one. Next one. Railroad equipment. Master Builder Motive Power, Master Builder Cars, Railroad Setting, Master Builder Structures, Master Builder Scenery, Master Builder Prototype Models. Railroad Construction and Operation, Model Railroad Engineer Civil, Model Railroad Engineer Electrical, and Chief Dispatcher. And Service to the Hobby and NMRA member, Association Official, Association Volunteer, and Model Railroad Author. Go ahead. Build 8 operable scale models of railroad cars. That's the one I had to do. Had to earn a score of 87.5 points on 4 of the 8 models in either an NMRA-sponsored contest or in an AP Merit Award judging. Submit a statement of qualification, which should include the following. The attachment provides detailed description of the model, identification of the scratch-built feature, list of all the commercial components appearing on each model, materials used in building the models, and a verification of the merit awards that you have received beforehand. These are 4 of the cars of the many that I did. And the first one is the little bobber caboose with the wrong kind of trucks underneath. I was told that one, but I'm trying to find the proper trucks for it. The second one was totally, they're both scratch built. The second was a water car that I built, and the flat car, scratch built. That particular tank on that water car was made out of a roller from a paint roller. I peeled off all the stuff and I cleaned it up and primed it and painted it and finished it. And I move on to the next one. The kit was built from the LaBelle kit. It was a passenger car, which I super detailed the interior and the bottom with all the brake rigging and whatever I have. The next one was the one I scratch built. It's called the fuel car. This is out of my own imagination. That's what I thought it would look like. As you can see, I scratch built the flat car. I added all the tanks, the pumps, everything that makes the thing work. I'll move on to the next one. Constructs 12 scale structures. At least 6 different types of structures must be represented in the total. One of the 6 types must be a bridge or trestle. You can see a trestle in my picture on here in my background. I scratch built that one entirely. And must be super detailed with commercial parts if necessary. Up to 3 of the 12 total models must be low relief structures. And you got to earn a score of 87.5 points on the 6 of the 12 models in either the NMRA sponsored contest or an AP Merit Award evaluation. Next one, structure submit a completed statement of qualification, which shall include the following attachment giving detailed descriptions of the model, identification of the scratch-built features, list of all the commercial components appearing on each model, the materials used in building the models, including a notation that the model is operational if intended to be, and the verification of the merit awards, photocopies of the certificates, or signed judging forms. See below. Next. There's one of the models I built that is the Suncoast model, which was super detailed, finished, painted, all new. The railings and stairways were all done by me. I didn't like the ones they had, so I rebuilt them all. Added lighting, extra windows, put a dump underneath of the coaling tower. That was an interesting model to build. The next picture shows the one I had on New Track a while back is the engine house that I built. Two car or 2 train, 2 engine house, 2-track engine house. That's totally scratch built. The only thing I used on there were Grant Line windows and a type of wallpaper that looked like stone. But all the rest is totally scratch built. If you ever want to check it out, go back on the new track site and you'll see it all. Next. Construct a completed section of a model railroad at least 60 square feet in O scale, or 45 square feet in S scale, or 32 square feet in HO scale, or 18 square feet in N scale, or other scales in proportion relationship to HO scale. This completed section must contain the necessary scenic elements of terrain, structures, background, lighting, and realism, conformity as combined to achieve a realistic effect using applicable MMR standards and that particular model railroad scene. The intent of this category is the prototypical rendering of the scenic elements from the ground up. Now here you can see some of my scenery. That's the curved trestle I scratch built, and in the background you can see rock work and the trees that I scratch built and the rock work with the bushes on them and I tried to blend everything together so that it looked like it was part of that scene. The next one you can see one where they were cutting the logs and using a bulldozer, which I kit built and put in place. Makes it look like the real thing was going on. And you can see some of the rock work in the background close up along with the trees that I scratch built. The next picture shows a scene of the trestle, the straight trestle in the background, and the trees that I built around there. You think I like building trees from looking at all this, you know, I do very much so. Anyway, that's just to give you an idea what the scenery should look like or try to look like. Next. Engineer civil. Prepare one original scale drawing of the model railroad track plan, identifying overall size, scale, track elevations, curve radii, and turnout sizes. And that was the fun thing where Ray kind of showed me how to do that properly. But it was very interesting. I learned a lot from that. The plan must include adequate terminal facilities for handling freight and/or passenger cars, storage and service of motive power, a minimum of one mainline passing siding and 4 switch locations, exclusive of yards, interchanges, Ys, and reversing loops. Provision for turning motive power, except in switchback roads, trolley lines, etc. Provision for simultaneous operation of at least 2 mainline trains in either direction. Next. We're stuck on this one. Where'd you go, Phil? There we are. There's a picture of the track plan. It shows the overall size of the room. And actually, it doesn't show you all the radii, which was 48-inch radius. And the turntable, the engine house, cooling tower area. There was much more detailed one, but when I put it up there, it was so much clutter that I couldn't make it look clear anyway. That's basically what you're looking for in civil. Next. Construct and demonstrate on one's own or club layout the satisfactory operation of an electrical control system on a model railroad capable of simultaneously independent control of 2 mainline trains in both directions and containing at least too long to list. See website for more details, that's for sure. Note the requirements for model railroad engineer. Electrical may appear lengthy and complicated, but they are not overly so. The reason that they are so long is to offer more options for meeting the requirements. You don't even have to do all of the work on a simple layout. You can do some of it on a club layout, some in your basement and some on your garden railroad, etc. Here's some of the electrical drawings that I did of the switches. And the other one is the DCC command control system and how it was wired to my track work. Any questions you can ask me about it later. Serve actively on the NMR committees, national, region, or division, long enough to accumulate at least 60 certified time units. I spent at least, I think, 8 years in the WOD division. Active satisfactory service as a national committee chair, or you can do it as a regional chair or a national committee member shall accumulate at the rate of 2 time units per month. So I was quite a few years doing it, so I think it was no problem with that one. Next. Active satisfactory service as a region committee member, as a division official or committee chair shall accumulate at least 1 point per unit per month. Active satisfactory service as a division committee or division board member shall accumulate at least a rate of 1/2 time unit per month. Editors of an NMRA publication shall receive credit for their service at the rate of appropriately for committee chairs. And service as a division officer or division director other than that of a regional level shall be credited at the same rate as that for service on regional committees. Don't fall asleep on me, guys. Don't fall. I hope it's finding it interesting. Prepare and submit material on any of the following subjects: model railroading, prototype railroading, NMRA administration. A total of 42 points must be earned from a combination of material in the following areas. Next. Just to give you an idea, article or columns in national publications, you get 3. On NMRA national, you get 3. NMRA region, you get 2. And the NMRA division is 1. Photos or artwork, 3 on the national publication, 3 on NMRA national, 2 on NMRA region, and 1 in a division. Scale drawings of prototype, you get 6 points on a national, 6 points on national NMRA. You get NMRA region, you get 2, and you get 1 for every one on your division. Scale drawings of prototype, you get 6 on the national publication. That's like the magazine. The NMRA national, you get 6. You get 4 for your region and 2 on your division. Scale drawings of your track plan, you get 3 national publication, 3 in the NMRA national, 2 in the NMRA region, and 1 in your division. The NMRA data sheets, 1 subject. Goes the NMRA national, 6 points. Given at an NMRA sponsored event for your national, you get 6. For your region, you get 4. And for your division, you'll get 2 points. Given at a non-NMRA sponsored event, you get 3 on the national, 2 in a region, and 1 in a division. Next. This is for material that does not, informal publication does not go through a formal publication process with an editor and is most likely published on the internet, but could also include self-published books. Key requirements that the material must be educational in nature and applicable to model railroading. No more than half of the total required points, 21 for author certificate, may be claimed for informal publications. Written material on a blog, website, or online magazine meeting the requirements earns credit at the same rate as the published articles in regional publications. The current AP and MMR awards are listed in the NMRA magazine each month. Those who have earned the Master Model Railroader award are listed both by number and by region on this NMRA website. www.nmra. And that's it. Thank you very much. I'm sure we got lots of questions out there.
Pat, before we open it up for questions and everything, I want to introduce the National AP Chairman, Ray Percy. Ray, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be here this evening. We've wanted to have the AP National Chairman here for some time, and with your help for Pat, we thought this might be a great opportunity. If you could talk to us a little bit about how you view the AP program, the importance of it from an educational standpoint, and why any serious model railroader really ought to take a hard look at participating in the achievement program. Whether they become an MMR, that's a different story. But there's a lot of benefit to me from participating in the various parts of the AP program, regardless of whether you become an MMR.
Okay, thanks, Jen. And congratulations to Pat and belatedly to Jack. See up there on my screen. But and again, it was my pleasure to give him a hand because that's what the AP, national and regional and division managers are here for. And Pat was in a little bit of a rough spot because the Niagara Frontier regional manager Rick Hatton passed away in early June, and that left us in kind of a bind. And so there was a lot of upheaval there for a while. And I was more than happy to kind of step in and help guide him through there. The AP, to get to Jim's point, it's really about growing your modeling skills. It's a way to get into areas that you might not have considered otherwise. We all love building models. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We like running trains, or we wouldn't be here. And the AP basically just kind of puts a structure around that to help you improve your skills in any one of those 11 areas that Pat reviewed earlier. And having grown those skills and gotten one of the certificates, it's about helping others grow those own skills. And that's one of the reasons I was happy to help Pat. Because other people have helped me along the way as well. I can tell you without a doubt that I'm an immeasurably better modeler for having participated in the AP. It really my first exposure to the AP was in the 1978 Dearborn National Convention. My father had taken us up in the family truckster, and we spent a day up there. And I remember walking into the contest room, and there was an absolutely gorgeous HO scale concrete coal dock that ended up winning Best of Show. And that model stuck with me for years. Really, even now, what is it, 50 years later nearly, as one of the most outstanding examples of modeling I've ever seen. And I remember coming out of that room thinking, I want to learn how to build models like that. And that's really the thing that really drew me into the AP. Now, it wasn't until many years later that I actually joined the NMRA and actually started participating in model contests. And one of the first ones was at the '93 National in Valley Forge. And there was a article in Model Railroad Craftsman about a Norfolk and Western combination depot. I had built a model of it, and I took it along with me with the idea that I put it in the contest room. And I got there, and they handed me the forms. And I had no idea what to do with these pieces of paper. But I did have enough presence of mind to look at the guy behind the desk. His name was Ralph Oxhandler. He was from the Pacific Coast region. And said, look, I work for the government. I know there is a right way and a wrong way to fill out this paperwork. Will you please tell me what the right way is? And Ralph went aside with me, and we talked about the forms for 45 minutes. And it was then that I realized something else that has been mentioned a couple of times here earlier, is the paperwork is not that bad. It is about understanding what it is you're trying to do, and that's to guide the judges or the model evaluators to the things that you want them to look at and the things that you want them to notice. If there's something you don't want them to notice, you can ignore that. But you're helping guide them to give you credit for the things that you want to get credit for. The paperwork does not need to be terrible. Anymore, if I enter a model contest, I provide no more than 2 pages of typewritten documentation because the model evaluators don't have time to look at it. They've got 50 models to go through in a matter of 5 hours. You're going to get 5 or 10 minutes. So you're doing them a huge favor by consolidating what it is that they need to know. By looking at the judge's guidelines on the webpage, you can figure that out pretty easily. And if you can't figure it out, that's when you call your division or your regional AP manager, or you send me a note and say, "Hey, I'm struggling with this. Can you please help me?" It Don't read more into it than you need to. It's just take it at its word and run with it that way. I mentioned I'm an immeasurably better modeler, and Pat mentioned a list of names of people that have helped him through the process over the years. Every one of us who have earned an MMR or are involved in the AP has a similar list. Some of them you may have heard of, some of you I guarantee you haven't, but they're all equally important to each of us on our individual journey. And I'd credit my own list, but again, it's nothing substantially different than what Pat just did. So I want to recognize that. I can tell you, I've met some amazing people through the AP program. And as much as we talk about models and details and what is necessary for conformance, and how do you scale complexity when you're evaluating construction and things like that, it's about the people that you meet and you work with, and that help you and you help on the AP journey. And that's the value. As much as it is about making yourself a better modeler, it's really about the people that you meet along the way. I've got lifelong friends that I've met through the AP, and I treasure every one of them, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So with that, I think, Jim, we'll just open it up to any questions that people have for Pat or myself.
I think that's great. And Ray, thanks again for being here. I know you're busy and this is time consuming, but I really do appreciate everything you've done for Pat and for your presence here tonight. Anybody have any questions for Pat?
Jim, I got a secret for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting me out of hanging another curtain rod.
I've been there, done that. Anybody
or at least delaying it for a day.
There you go. Anybody have any questions for Pat or comments for Pat or for Ray?
Don't all speak at once.
I don't have a question, but I want to say congratulations to Pat.
Thanks, Greg.
I know that that he helped me, and I hope I helped him a little bit with a couple of questions and answers back and forth. And when I look at the layout and the buildings that he's built, I can't think of a better ambassador for what the modeling skills that an MMR can represent. So congratulations, Pat.
Thanks, Greg. You're making me blush.
I'd like to second that.
Thank you very much.
And this site has been a big help. You talking about the AP and everything else. The people on this site are just wonderful people.
Oh yeah.
And I'm proud to be part of it. Thank you.
You're welcome. We all have fun.
I'll say you've been a big help.
Having fun. Why are we doing it?
That's right.
Yeah, Pat. So just congratulations, and
Thanks,
it's just amazing modeling, and that volunteer stuff. You should have gotten that twice over. You should get an extra AP just for that. So.
I think you can only do it once, but it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
Ray, one of the questions that has come up privately to me, and I'll mention it to you because I think I know what the answer is. People are concerned about this super detail. What the hell does super detail mean? What is a super detail model? I mean, what's that rock look like?
Yeah, well, and again, this is something that we are working with to establish a firm definition within the AP, because right now there was a congressman many years ago who was asked to define pornography, and he says, well, I can't, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah.
And for too many years, we've been treating super detailed models kind of the same way. I'm not sure, I can't really define it, but I know it when I see it. And we owe the NMRA members better. We owe the model evaluators better to help get them off the hook for having to make that judgment call. And we owe it to the AP staff who has to go through and validate these awards. What we're looking at doing right now is establishing a firm requirement. Basically, the three categories of models that have that super detailed requirement are motive power, cars, and structures. And so, what does super detailed mean with respect to each of those three categories? And we've been jawboning about it amongst ourselves here for about 2 months. I think we are closing in on a definition that everybody can live with. There's a danger of being overly prescriptive, and then there's a danger of not being prescriptive enough.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the thread that we're the needle that we're trying to thread here. So I am sending out a final proposed draft to the regional AP managers here later this week. And I'm hopeful that I can get enough thumbs up that we can go ahead and make it official and get it out to the membership. There's an advantage that we have with this. There's the requirements for the certificates and everything. Those must be approved. Any changes to those have to be approved by the NMRA board.
Right.
The definition of super detailed does not. So we don't need to wait for their meeting in Amherst in order to make that change. So I'm hoping to get it done sometime within the next 6 weeks.
Thank you so much. We look forward to it.
Anything we can do. When I took over the program about a little bit more than a year ago, there was really three things that I wanted to do with the program, and one was to remove barriers, and its ambiguity like that, and the definition is super detailed, I consider it to be a barrier. And it gets back to the words that one of the gentlemen had said earlier. I don't want to participate in the AP because it says super detailed, and I don't know what that means. And I think we owe it to people like that to tell them exactly what it means.
Another thing that Pat ran into that I laughed about when he told me, Pat was being told that everything that had to be judged at a contest. That no one could come to his house to judge his models. He had to pack them up and take them wherever the contest was going to be held to get them judged. And so having that kind of information floating around out there is really a detriment to a lot of modelers to even consider becoming involved in the AP, because taking a model that they built and have a lot of time and effort in and trying to get it on an airplane these days and fly to a convention somewhere just to get it judged is going to be a non-starter. And I told Pat, I said, Pat, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You know, a lot of my models were judged in my home. In fact, I preferred it because I could stay with the judges. And if they were having a question and I could tell that they were having a question, I could step in and say, well, I didn't write that down, but this is what I did, or this is how I did it. And it was beneficial to me learning about modeling, and it was beneficial to the judges. So I think, I don't know where the confusion is coming from, but if Pat is being told that, other people are being told that too.
Yeah, I know, and I've run into that as well, or that we can't do, COVID is over, we don't do remote judging anymore,
Right.
or things like that, and
Right.
it's blatantly not true.
Right.
And so again, this is one of those things where my suspicion is it's a division person who was told that by the previous division person, and it's kind of propagated along those local lines. But the fact of the matter is that is absolutely not true. In fact, where we're talking about starting something we're calling AP outreach, wherein we really put a concerted focus on meeting modelers where they are, because there are a lot of modelers who the things are built into their layout, or they don't want to transport them for whatever reason,
That's
or
right.
can't transport them for whatever reason. And so if they want to participate in the AP, or if they want to have something judged for a merit award, then we'll find the judges and we'll get them out to your house. There was one case out in southern Utah. I was probably about 6 months ago or so ago. Jim Wanloss, who was the AP division guy in northern Utah, was on a family trip. There was a guy in southern Utah who had a fabulous model railroad. He was an incredible modeler, but had never had anything judged.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yep.
And so Jim went down there. He met up with two of the southern Utah folks. He trained them how to do model evaluations, and over the course of a weekend, they did what 6 structures and 4 cars and scenery and civil and electrical, and validated as chief dispatcher and validated as volunteer, and at the end of the weekend, the guy came away with all the certificates necessary for an MMR.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, you can't do that if you don't do home judging.
Exactly. And it surprised me that Pat was being told that. And when I told him, I said, no, Pat, go back and tell him, no, that's not true. If you want it at your house, you can get it done there. And he went back and they changed their position when he went back and confronted them. But if he hadn't done that, then he would have been, I'm not sure that he'd get his MMR today. So it's just something that it's out there, and something else. And I don't know whether this is true or not. This is kind of gossip that I've heard. I've heard that there's a movement toward consolidating every AP decision for MMR at the national level. And in effect, taking the division and regionals out of that decision.
I have no idea where that came from.
Gotcha.
Absolutely not true.
Gotcha. It still goes through the division, still goes through the region, just
Absolutely.
like it has. It comes to the national for the final okay, but no change in who makes the initial decisions.
Yeah. Now that there might be the origin of that might be that we've gone through the last few months. I have asked to have all of the documentation for all of the SOQs forwarded to me for national, basically just as a quality check.
Yeah.
Just to go through and make sure that we're doing things properly, that we're not letting things slip through the cracks, because one of the things I wanted to do when I took over was to make sure that we maintain the standards. And we found a couple of cases where we needed to bounce them back.
Right.
But other than that, I think we're talking 2 SOQs out of a couple of hundred since we started doing it. So it's a very, very small percentage. So that might be the origin of what you heard about, Jim.
Something else, that it's many people don't understand. People think that the national chairman appoints all the regional chairmen and appoints all the division chairmen. And it's so funny because they don't realize that the regional chairman is appointed by the regional president. And the division AP is appointed by the division superintendent. And the national chairman comes in and says, hey, I don't have a staff. I don't have anybody that I appoint or that works directly for me. I got to work through these people that somebody else has appointed. And people don't understand that.
Yeah, and but again, this is one of the things that's absolutely right. They get appointed by the president at the whatever level you're talking about. Just like I was appointed by Gordy Robinson.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is, I haven't met all of the 150 or so division AP reps. It's my goal to do so,
right.
But I haven't done it yet. I haven't even met all of the regional reps, but I can tell you that they're all really top-notch people, and they're doing their best, and they want to help people, and they want to promote the program.
And I would encourage everybody to at least take a hard look at it. Whether you join the NMRA, I'll leave that up to you. I'm not pushing that for new tracks, but I do think that the achievement program is number one, the best modeling education you can ever get anywhere in the world. There's nothing better than the NMRA's achievement program. And I really encourage everybody to take a hard look at it. You don't have to become a member at this point. You can just take a look at it and see what's involved and see if any of it meets your cup of tea. You don't have to be an MMR. Just pick an area that you want to learn about and try that on and see how it fits for you. Because I guarantee you'll come away with a lot of knowledge that you never knew that you even needed, and you'll be amazed at what a better modeler you'll become.
You want to get a good flavor for what the program is. Cynthia Priest did an article in the October Model Railroader on her personal journey towards an MMR. She's not quite there yet, but
Right.
she's getting awfully close. And it's a great article in the October MR.
Any
Okay,
other questions for Pat or Ray, or comments about what Ray and Pat are talking about?
let's focus this on Pat as we wind this up here. Pat, why don't you give us a summation of what this meant to you, and what did you gain from it, and what did you learn from it, and how would you mentor others on it? And then we'll close this out. Yeah.
Well, I've learned a lot from everybody on this show, and a lot from friends of mine who are MMRs and otherwise. And there's a lot of great modelers out there. I'm not one of the best. Trust me. There are some that just blow your mind with the work that they do. And I know that they could be an MMR if they just tried a little bit. I think the biggest thing is to put your mind to it, which is really hard for me sometimes. Keep my mind occupied on what I'm doing. But if you work with the other people, they'll help you get there. And that's what I found the best about working with Ray and you, Jim, and Tom and Phil and Greg and all these guys on this program. Plus my wife, she kept me going. It's a good thing to have your wife behind you. I'll tell you that right now. If you don't have her behind you, you're going to have some problems. You have to work harder. Anyway, yes, I believe that everyone in the family can help you if you want them to. Don't be afraid to ask. That's what I found the hardest, is to ask somebody. And if they give you an idea, listen to them, because they've done it. They know what it's all about. And you apply that to what you're doing, and you'll get there. And like one person I know can get there right away is Tom. So don't give me any hard times, Tom. Yeah, I know you can do it.
It's a paperwork thing for me.
Yeah, here we go with the paperwork. Yeah, I know.
But
Ask
I,
Ray to help you.
I can do the paperwork. On your achievement of this award, you did it post after basically a lifetime of model railroading. Did you find that you went back to your layout and improved some things for this award? Did anything new come of it, or was it simply of pulling out old models? I mean, what did you get most
Uh,
recently out of, what was the positive thing you got out of this after completing it? Anything to your layout or models?
I did see things on my layout that I wanted to change, and that was some of the turnouts. I wanted to improve upon them and detail them a little more. Another thing that really hit me was building the stretch buildings, like the buildings I like to do. And building trees was my first go around, but I found building structures was one of the greatest parts that I enjoy the most, because I was in the building business beforehand and I knew what it was all about. So it kind of helped a little bit there. I also
Having
worked on a, go ahead.
Having seen your at least photographs of your layout, the rock work, scenery is stunning, and the painting of it. But tell us about those trees. It's tough without a model in front of it. How large are some of those evergreen trees? What's the average height?
2 to 3 feet.
See, doesn't come across. I would have never guessed that. So that into itself is pretty amazing. And perhaps we can get you to do a little segment on building trees, since it's one of your favorite things to do. And who knows, maybe some of them will wind up in Bloomington, Indiana.
I always invite people to come over and I teach them how I did it. It's not
Yeah,
hard.
I'm thinking of coming to see you this
I
before
got an
you.
extra bedroom. You too, Ray. You want to come down? You're welcome.
Well, I want to thank Jim Kello for his return to the show, and our guest, Ray. Thank you for all you did to help our friend and mentor, Pat, achieve this great accomplishment. And Pat, most of all, thank you. Congratulations, and look forward to your mentoring going forward. Congratulations again.
Thanks very much. to everybody.
And Ray, before you leave, I do want to make sure that you understand that now you can also include the designation Nutrax mentor after your name. Because you've met one of our qualifications. You've done a presentation on our show. And if you decide you'd like to come back and talk to us some more about the achievement program, about show some of your models, whatever, you're most welcome anytime. Because we really want to get closer to the achievement program if we possibly can, and I'm looking for ways of doing that.
Okay, thank you again.
Okay, I appreciate that, Jim. And let me think about what I can come up with. I'm sure we can work something out.
That would be great. Look forward to hearing from you.